advertised. That's for the crazy.
Hello, Internet! It is your fan favorite producer. Me, SneakyDevil. This is Fanfiction, Contempt Theater 9000. Now, it's a stipulation of getting the guest star Gray on. He did say we needed to do a Warhammer fic, so, you can all blame him for what we're all about to endure. So this
You
is.
can blame a Tojo for even requiring.
Oh,
Shit. Whoops.
that's really good.
Yeah, Tojo ended up dropping a really fucking dumb idea in my DMs, and I was just like, "Rise, my pillarmen," and mock this man.
As we do, of course.
And Tojo's like, "Dude, man, come on, why'd you do that to me, man?" I'm like, "Dude, did you think I was gonna do anything different?"
Of course not. The question is more, did he think? The answer is no, of course. But
Now, as always, I am required by Twitch to tell you, even if they fucking snuffle me in the bed, like they fucking just take a pillow to my goddamn stream and silently execute it. But even if all that happens, you know, I'm still required by Twitch to tell everyone here that you're not supposed to contact the author because that's considered harassment. My response to that. Let's get this shit started. So, this is an Honor and Faith, a Warhammer Mass Effect crossover. After being thrown into the tides of the warp, the Space Marines of the Iron Sentinels find themselves thrown into the mythical past of mankind and engage in a war that threatens to see humanity wiped out. Threatened on all sides by chaos and heresy. Will they succumb or remain faithful to the Emperor's light? Okay, well, the problem here is, first off, it's fan fiction, so everyone knows the Marines win.
Unless you're gray and decide to be an asshole to everyone.
Yes, but gray is gray and no one else is gray.
Exactly.
I heard of one of the incidents that caused Twitch to make the rules. I mean, we all know why Twitch made the rules, and it's not because of me.
It's because they're assholes.
Yeah, it's because of other assholes going like, "Hey, thousands of followers, contact this small person and fucking destroy their DMs." It's like, oh wow,
by the
could have
way,
fucking
fuck
seen
you.
that coming. Oh hey,
Exactly.
Arn has given me money. Once again, I'm
Yeah.
filled with Norwegian dollars.
Exactly. Gotta get that oil money somehow, you know.
Oh, I have plenty of oil money here.
Very nice. Now we have even more.
Exactly.
From yours truly.
Yeah, we should just like annex you, and then we'll have more oil money.
How about you don't?
Anyway,
Actually, wait. As long as you bring freedom, then sure.
it was a Twitch streamer that gave another artist's info, and everyone flooded her with hate mail.
We bring freedom, liberty, and death to the Swedes.
Indeed. Anyway, so the first problem I already have with this is that they already like chaos. Well, yes, but chaos and heresy on all sides. So it not only is Mass Effect the past of Warhammer, so it's not an alternate universe. It's straight up being told to us that Mass Effect is the prequel to Warhammer.
Which is fucking stupid, because that was the Federation beforehand.
Which is just beyond fucking dumb. But on top of that, chaos and heresy is everywhere. So you're rewriting the entirety of Mass Effect lore.
Yep. I mean, what else would he do? Actually use canon?
I mean, that is easier.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fan fiction. The easy way doesn't exist.
And so he's rewriting all of Mass Effect's lore. to include chaos and heresy, even though heresy wasn't a thing in the year 3000. You know,
I need a drink.
I'm just saying.
Sneaky, you're gonna turn poor Gray into fucking alcoholic, dude. Me too, honestly. Hang on.
Or they will, maybe they'll remain faithful to the Emperor's Light. You mean the Emperor's Light that doesn't exist yet? Because the Emperor didn't exist in the year 3000? I'm just saying. You know. Oh, fucking Christ. Okay, it's the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. So at least they got math correct.
Too bad it was at the cost of everything else.
Oh yeah, the Emperor is suffering from a bit more than bed sores. On the golden throne. He is a master of mankind, and by the will of the gods. No. 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 He is... No. No.
The Emperor hates the fucking gods, you dipshit.
He literally
I'm getting
betrayed
angry
the
again.
gods. Okay.
I think this author's a chaos worshiper.
Probably. I'm trying to fucking re-edit history. And master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. Less inexhaustible and more just innumerable. He is a rotting carcass. Oh, he's fucking clearly, yeah, corpse god, here we go. Clearly chaos worshipper. Writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium. Literally, no one in the Imperium calls him that, and you will literally get executed for calling him that.
Get the witch hunter.
He's
Inquisitor.
God.
We need a double
We
exterminatus.
clearly know whose side he's on.
And that tells us all we need to know about which side wins.
For whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so he may never truly die. No, it's not to keep him alive, it's to keep the chaos gods from eating all of the Empire. There's a difference there. Splash some holy water on him. Well, the problem with that one, Sean, is that the holy water would come from him, which would probably make it not effective on him. We are the masters of evil. Yes, we are Moe. I think our name needs more workshopping. No, I think that name is perfect, Faceless. You just keep using it. Anyway. Yet, even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the daemon-infested miasma of the warp, the only route between distant stars, their way lit by the Astronomicon, psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will. Vast armies give battle in his name on uncounted worlds. Greatest among his soldiers are the Adeptus Astartes, Space Marines, bioengineered super warriors. Their comrades in arms are Legion, the Imperial Guard, and the countless planetary defense forces. Okay, let's be honest here. Planetary defense forces aren't so much of an army as they are living meat shield.
Unless you're on a death world. That is the only time they're actually worth a damn.
The ever-vigilant Inquisition, and the Tex priests of Adeptus Mechanicus, to name only a few. But for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat from heretics, mutants, and worse. To be a man in such times, to be one amongst untold billions.
I think he means
Billions.
trillions.
I think he means hundreds of trillions.
Yeah.
It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. No, you literally can't imagine the Imperium. It is physically impossible to comprehend how the Imperium works.
It's a bureaucracy so bloated that you wouldn't get through all the rules and legislation for 3 lifetimes.
Like, literally, each planet has its own rules and laws. And then each sector has its own rules and laws. And then each governed area has its own rules and laws. And then you have the Imperium rules and laws. And they all contradict and conflict with each other. And who you get shot by is completely dependent on the day, the file you just put in for, and who was next to you.
And if there was a commissariat near you.
Indeed. The lengthy circle-jerking exposition is tiresome. Yeah, that's the other thing, is you would think someone reading a Warhammer 40k story would know something about Warhammer 40k and wouldn't need Warhammer 40k explained to them.
If
But
anything,
what do I know?
the only thing you would need an explanation for is the Age of Sigmar bull.
Yeah, blah blah. These are tales of the times, forgotten technology and science, and much of it has been forgotten and never relearned.
Wait, what is this sentence even supposed to be saying?
That technology was forgotten.
No, it says forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Why-
retarded. What the hell?
I'm
Why would you
aware.
repeat this
I'm
That's
aware.
Warhammer.
What the fuck?
They're going backwards in technology.
There is no peace amongst the stars. Only you literally fucked up the most iconic Warhammer quote ever. Fucking Chaos Heretic. There is no
Of course you
peace
did.
amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. You literally fucked up the most iconic Warhammer quote.
I mean,
What is that quote supposed to be?
There is
For
no peace
those of
amongst
us
the
not in-
stars, there is only war.
I guess they just wanted to hit
That's
the
so
fucking
much
sound
better
more,
than what was written here.
more rambling.
I'm aware. It is literally there is only war. You know, it is the year blank. There is only war. That is the Warhammer tagline.
That's short, sweet, and to the point.
Oh my god, that's actually a canon thing that he wrote. What
Oh.
the fuck?
Oh yeah, I know this is an actual thing. It's just
No, he got the quote right. This is a canon thing.
what quote? There is no peace amongst the stars. There's only carnage and
Forget the
slaughter.
promise of progress and understanding, for there is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting.
Where's that from?
Oh, from Games Workshop.
I know, but it's still not the
Motherfucker.
tagline. But, like that's still not.
Yes,
the
I'm
tagline.
trying to find it. And apparently they retconned it again.
Of course they did. But the only war tagline
course.
is so much better.
I mean, yeah.
Arthan Prime, once a prosperous hive world, burned as it floated in. Once upon a time, it had been the home of only 30 billion people. That is the smallest fucking hive world I have ever heard of.
A hive world has hundreds of billions, if not trillions, tens of trillions. 30 billion should be the underhive.
Yeah. And the
And
source
this person
of
can't
labor
math.
for the nearby forge world of Arthan Gamma. Is Arthan Prime even an actual place in Warhammer? No, it
Nope.
Nope.
doesn't.
Fucking social enterprise based out of New Delhi, India. Alright. Very
No.
cool.
It looks like Arthan Prime is a completely original planet.
Great. Burn it.
I think it's
Well,
already
it is
doing
burned.
Burn
We're
it again.
supplied dozens. Oh wait, a Forge World only supplied dozens of regiments.
Wow,
I'm
that's
pretty
kind of
sure the
weak.
Cadians on a fortress world had millions of regiments.
Oh wow, thank you for that definition. A large group of people.
Yeah, don't say.
Fuck you. Regiments typically are made up of 2 battalions of 500 soldiers in size. Okay, so 12,000 people. He thinks that 30 billion people produce labor to arm 12,000.
Oh, several groups of 12,000, but I guess.
No, just supplied dozens. So literally, dozens
Yeah,
of regiments.
An unspecified amount of dozens.
Well,
Which can
yes.
be a dozen or it can be tens of dozens, you know. It's not
But-
defined.
But still,
It's not a lot though.
Imperial Guard regiment can have up to 10 of thousands.
oh really? Okay, so they did increase the number. Okay.
Yeah, it goes from a few hundred at
Okay,
founding
so
to over 10.
120k is 120k plus is a little bit better, but still, Jesus Christ, that's fucking minuscule.
Oh, yeah.
Covered in vast man-made spires of adamantium. It was the crown jewel of the Arthan subsect. Now it was lost. Its populace had been turned from the Emperor's light to the machinations of chaos. The whole subsector burned in the flames of rebellion when the planetary defense troopers and local guard regiments proved insufficient, like they always do. The mighty
Their
Space
duty is to
Marines
die.
had answered. Did someone say die for the Emperor? Had answered the call and delivered the Emperor's justice to heretics through bolter and chainsword, and when those had proven insufficient, the task in the world decided and lost, exterminatus. Now, as Arthan Prime twist and writhe in its death throes, the Space Marines of the Iron Sentinels chapter hunted for the instigator of the revolt, Thousand Sons sorcerer known as Azar. Yet the tides of fate are fickle indeed.
Fuck are you watching?
Is it
Max?
me, or is there an unnecessary amount of prose in this story? Yes, there is an unnecessary amount of prose in this story.
I mean, it's a fucking Warhammer fic. What can you expect?
Oh, this is over the top even by Warhammer standard.
Yeah, still.
Most Warhammer writers have a log shoved up their ass, so.
Of course. And they need another one.
Brother,
They
Captain
could probably
Nemos
handle 3 more.
stared at the
Yeah.
dying world. Far beneath his feet, through the command deck of the battle barge, Duty's shadow. It was, he thought, the least he could do. To dismiss the weight of one's actions was to risk damnation. So he watched as the former hive world began to slowly collapse inwards, being torn apart by the rampant seismic activities unleashed by the shadow's cyclonic torpedoes. It was by his hand that Arthan Prime burned. It had been he who had sent word to the chapter master recommending the destruction of the once loyal planet once it had been clear to him that his company was incapable of securing it for the Imperium again. And it had been he who passed on the order to the gunnery crews, where the chapter master ordered him to prevent the further spread of chaos through fiery destruction. Even now, though, the vile traitor that had orchestrated all of this remained at large. The purgization of Artham Prime had been no victory, and the continued survival of Azar, the Calculating. Wow, that's like one of the worst fucking names you could ever be saddled with.
Yeah.
I am a
and
czar.
Apparently they got the cyclonic torpedo wrong.
Yeah, I'm aware they did. The
It
Azar!
fucking blows up the entire damn planet.
The Calculating.
Disgusting.
Indeed. I mean, there's literally a specific weapon they use for Exterminatus. I guess he
Yeah,
doesn't
that's the
care.
cyclonics.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's used for that. It doesn't seismic. It blows up the entire biosphere.
Okay.
It ignites every single bit of oxygen into a nuclear
Yeah, no, see,
that goes across the
I
entire.
think he was thinking of the Exterminatus beam that the Inquisitor ships have.
Yeah, that's a stupid thing to try and get.
Yeah. Anyway, the slow pounding of ceramite-clad feet against the command deck, accompanied by the rhythmic tapping of a forestaff, alerted him to the approach of one of his brothers, though he remained staring at the world he had killed. Brother Captain, came the dry tone of the epistolary behind him. Vargas, he replied, turning to face the blue-clad librarian. Have you had any more luck in search? No, unfortunately, the foul heretic twists the warp about him masterfully, using it as a shroud to hide himself from me. it will still be some time before I am able to unravel the ever-changing threads of the immaterium that Nemros rumbled. This was unacceptable. The mighty Allspex utilized by the Shadow's machine spirit, as the ship's eyes had been unable to locate the traitor ship within the debris field that circled Artham Prime, meaning that Vargas's mastery of the warp had been his only other option for finding their foe, a sorcerer, 1,000 Suns, Traitor Legion. Can someone actually master the use of warp?
Nope.
Not really, no.
Also, only a chapter master can order exterminatus. So yet another sin on this person.
Well, it did say he's the one that recommended it to the chapter master.
Yeah, but chapter master has to order it fully by themselves.
How fares Sergeant Herox? The assault marine squad leader had lost a hand to the heretic wielding a stolen bolt pistol. Really? Okay.
The
Nice.
bolt pistols that blow up a person's arm.
Yes. And he stole it from somewhere.
Ooh. Only the guard captains get that. Or the assault guy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yo, Sneaky. Tojo's here.
Oh, Tojo, this is a Warhammer Mass Effect fic in which the chapter of the Iron Sentinels travel back in time to the origin of the Imperium, which happens to be Mass Effect, but completely an AU version of Mass Effect where heresy and chaos exist. Because reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all your fault, Tojo.
With a chuckle and a small movement of his power armor-clad hand, Nemeros dismissed Vargas and turned back towards the command deck's viewport. Despite the traitor's cowardice and success, Up until now, he was confident in the Shadow's crew and their ability to intercept any attempt to move to the planet's Manderville point. One less blasphemous soul would trouble humanity by the end of this. Azar, known to his brothers of the 15th Legion as Azar the Calculating.
That is the stupidest name ever.
I am the Calculating. I'm sorry, but if someone ever introduced themselves to me as I am the Calculating, I would most certainly be like, quick, what's 2 plus 2? Normally, I like positivity and encouraging in my writing content, but if this is serious critique and not just making fun of it, I may be able to learn something here. Honestly, yeah, it is definitely both. Sometimes it's just genuinely awful stories that are just embarrassingly bad. But sometimes it's a story like this that has excellent spag as far as I'm concerned. But it's very prosy. They get details that are sort of important in terms of the lore wrong, and then they make really odd design choices, like it's a fusion between Mass Effect and Warhammer, but for some reason they made Mass Effect the alternative past of Warhammer, and are completely rewriting the Mass Effect verse and basically dropping everything that is canon in Mass Effect and replacing it with Warhammer stuff, which is a very odd decision because you already have the Mass Effect verse available to you, and you pretty much have all the characters already written and everything that happens in it already written, but now you have to rewrite everything because you made that decision. And normally I wouldn't say bad things about that, but that's just a lot of extra work for effectively nothing going to change. Because in the end, if you rewrite Mass Effect to be more in line with Warhammer, you just get more Warhammer.
Essentially.
More racism.
Not that I know.
Just
Because
because
I
it's
don't know.
fanfic doesn't mean it has to be bad, but some fanfic is so bad. Yeah, unfortunately, we actually have had one of our regular viewers calculate out the percentage of fics that we've covered in this podcast, good versus bad, and it came out to something like 99.6% of all the fics we have covered were terrible. Like objectively terrible, not like subjectively terrible. Like objectively terrible. The spelling was terrible. The grammar was awful. The characters made no sense. The plot was nonsensical and unable to be followed by anyone. Unfortunately, these are very often popular stories, which both utterly baffles me and makes me actually very irritated, because then people read these stories and go, ah, yes, that is how you write a story, and then they go and do it. Quite painful, to be honest.
Such is our lives, Sneaky.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Zinch was smiling upon him, the fickle attention of the god of lies. He's more the god of play. Focused solely upon him in this moment as he stood aboard the bridge of unspeakable knowledge. It was a satisfying reward for all the unseen effort he had put into corrupting the corpse-worshipping fools, and he had reveled in the attention of the never-born that sang his praises throughout the warp. After naught but a few whispered promises, the bloated nobility of Arthan Prime had willingly given themselves over to his patron deity in hopes of achieving even more power over their subjects. Eventually, they had succeeded in opening a rift into the warp, out of which millions of daemons had poured through, and the cultists were ripped to shreds by the very creatures they had hoped to master, their souls devoured by the animalistic daemons.
He's not the god of lies, you motherfucker. Change, evolution, intrigue, and sorcery, not lie.
Mez, another point I want to make before I keep moving on is, I've actually been banned from several fanfiction discords and reddits because I made such critiques such as X thing is not good. Here is 99 reasons why X thing is not good, and I have been told that I am a harassing individual spreading negativity because I don't believe that everything everyone says is amazing.
Damn right.
People are inherently stupid.
Yeah.
You
It
may even
falls
kick
to the
yourself
good
for
people.
intentionally skipping past your name in the writing tag for the last 2 months. Well, the meds, I actually encourage you to stick around for the entire thing, even if I put you off at times, because I will get quite angry and just rant for a bit usually. But near the end of every episode, I do tend to take just questions from the audience, and we've recently had some Ruby, discussions and whatnot on characterization and plot and how you would handle a world like that. And basically, I'll just take a question of various scenarios, and I'll try to work with it in terms of how you could generate a coherent plot and characterization out of it. So just stay with it to see the whole thing. PDF troopers and Imperial Guard soldiers had moved to halt the flow of the monstrosities invading their homeworld, but had been confounded by the conflicting orders from their superiors. Corporate wants to let them in!
Troopers.
What?
PDF troopers. And about word warriors. Fucking the Excel army.
Yeah.
That's kind of gay.
Well, and 2 regiments had been lured into a trap and either destroyed or driven to madness by the Zintichian demons that they had sought to
Zenitian.
oppose. What?
Zenitian.
Zenitian. Okay, let's go with that. They sought to oppose. The entire Imperial command structure had been purged due to suspected heresy, and the executioners were unaware that they were killing innocent people. Okay, well, then how are they getting orders? If the Imperial command structure was giving them conflicting orders that got them all killed, but they were in fact, all of them were innocent, how were they getting conflicting orders?
I guess the scouts.
Yeah, I mean, I really just, I just find this really, cause he's very prosy in some parts where there doesn't need to be more information, and then in moments like this where it's like, okay, you really got to clarify here what's going on, because if everyone's innocent, then how can they be giving conflicting orders? It's just like, you might want to add some more detail there. Any hopes of a swift outside response had been shattered when the astropaths assigned to the planet turned into a writhing mass of flesh and bone inside their tower. Yeah, that would pretty much put a stopper on any help.
Yeah, that's good.
The last chance Arthan had, that of the local Imperial Navy ship sending for help, was lost when the maddened sailors turned the mighty weapons of their vessels against each other and themselves, destroying the fleet. The arrival of the loyalist lapdogs had been unexpected, but the Tsar the Calculating had long since learned to plan for the unexpected. Right, you plan for the things you can't expect. That's why they're called unexpected things, because you didn't
Makes a lot of fucking sense.
plan for them. One did not survive long in the service of the Changer of the Ways, otherwise swiftly retrieving what he had come for. He and his Rubric brothers, Rubric, had returned to their cruiser just as the Space Marines had bathed Arthan in fire ever since Zinch's blessing had hidden him from the sight of the Loyalists. All that stood between him and further favor from Zinch was a lone battle barge. The unseen smirk grew larger. Days of preparation had led him to this moment. Now it was time to teach these fools just what it meant to go against the powers of chaos. Casting his mind out of his body into the depths of the warp, he awoke the Neverborn that were bound to the hull of the knowledge, and sent a psychic pulse to the demons possessing the ship's weaponry. It was time to end this farce. The first warning Nemros had was a shudder that rocked the shadow, causing him to stumble and sending a few of the crew flying out of their seats. Behind him, he could hear the battle barge's shipmaster shouting orders to bring the ship into a combat state. In front of him, he could see the trader ship emerging out of nowhere with its weaponry blazing, the first shots of which had bypassed the shadow's void shield and impacted on the adamantium hull, leaving behind demonic flame that ate away at the blessed metal. Eyes glaze over, soul starts to depart. There, Sean. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Thank fuck. I'm pouring myself another shot as we speak.
Brothers, he snarled into the Vox,
Cheers.
installed within his blessed helmet. The traitor shows himself at last. In the name of the Emperor and the Primarch, our retribution will be swift. His Vox roared in response, his brothers shouting oaths of vengeance and prayers to the Emperor as the shadow shuddered once more. This time, as a spread of torpedoes launched from their tubes and sped towards the Chaos vessel, while venerable plasma projectors fired spears of superheated gases that shot through the void to splash upon the Chaos-touched void shields. Beneath his helmet, Nemros smiled wickedly, knowing that, sorcery or not, Imperial citizens of Arthan Prime would soon be avenged.
He's gotten another thing wrong.
Oh?
Fucking prayers to the Emperor. The only Space Marines that do that are the Black Templar.
And the Smurfs.
The Smurfs are retards.
Not disagreeing with you on that one. But they still do it.
Yeah, but these guys are Rogaldor.
Yeah, I know, which makes it even weirder.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a massive warp rift blossomed in front of the Chaos vessel, despite the traitor ship being nowhere near the system's Manderville point. It's almost like he follows Zinch. It was commonly considered impossible amongst Imperial navigators to open a rift so close to a planet. It's almost like he doesn't care about if he lives or dies. Nemros
No
was
shit.
unsure as to why the vagaries of the warp were lost to him, but he was certain that allowing a sorcerer to complete whatever ritual he had begun would have dire consequences for the Space Marines and the crew of the Shadow. A volley of macro cannon fire rocked the ship as he made to turn towards the Shadow's shipmaster and roar at the man to destroy the vessel now as opposed to later when the shipmaster feels like it. And something caught his enhanced eye. Before he could even blink, let alone process the sight, the energies of the warp shot outwards, engulfing both of them. Before Azar rested the ancient device, see, what my small issue with this is I'm getting some really red flags here, where it keeps hopping over to Azar's point of view, which makes me worried that when they end up in the Mass Effect section of this story, the Azar point of view is going to continue, and I don't feel like you should be giving the villain's point of view so often.
Oh,
That's just me.
Yeah. That is definitely what it's going into.
Because I feel that, like, that, especially when it comes to a follower of Zinch here, just like explaining everything he just did through a point of view change really slows down the story, and I'm not really interested in it, to be honest. You know?
Oh, wonderful. I just
So,
decided to look at the next chapter.
Oh yeah?
Apparently, and I don't know if this is correct, but Alliance ships got blown up by squid. So I'm believing this is Mass Effect 3.
Well, Mass Effect 1 also had that.
Is there Cerberus terrorists?
Probably Mass Effect 3. They aren't considered terrorists until 3.
Alright, then it's 1, and that's going to make everything a whole lot worse.
It's always worse. There's always more, and it always gets worse.
Indeed.
Yep.
Anyway,
Speaking
so
of
blah
worse.
blah blah, he got a machine, and blah blah blah, he got some books that told you how to use the machine. and he's using some device to use the machine, and warp stuff is happening, and they all get sucked up. He was caught off guard when the distant laughter of Zinch echoed throughout his mind. No, he screamed in rage as the energies that sustained the ritual were ripped from his control and blasted out, consuming them all. The unspeakable knowledge was blasted into the Empyrean, and all Azar could hear was the shrieking of the predators of the Sea of Souls and the ever-changing laughter of his patron deity. Wow, it's almost like Zinch will screw you over for a chuckle. Who could have seen that coming?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone but people who follow Zinch, apparently.
Yeah.
To be fair to them, they always appear to think I'm the master of fate because Sinch blesses.
I'm always a bit, even in canon when that happens, I'm always a bit like confused by that. Because it's like, you're literally following a guy who just straight shit tells you to your face that whenever you stop being amusing, that's when he's just you. But then they always get portrayed as like going around being like, haha, I will never lose and never die because Zinch likes me. And that totally isn't him just building up to him just totally fucking you over for the lulz, because Zinch canonically does that, where he'll have plans going that are literally there just to fuck over another plan he has going. Because that's what he does.
Yep.
And so
I guess.
I like, at least with Korn, it's pretty straightforward. As long as you're killing people for me, I'm not gonna kill you. Zinch is the Warhammer equivalent of Sheogorath, pretty much, yeah. With Nurgle, Papa Nurgle loves you. He's gonna,
Nurgle is.
he's gonna put his
honestly
love into
the
you.
least chaotic.
And then you're gonna die from boils, so you're gonna turn into a giant boil. Explode. Shoot pus everywhere. Slanesh, I mean, I guess if you float that way. If you don't, you're gonna learn to float
Degenerate.
that way.
If you're fucking Isley, yeah.
Isley is
so
definitely
overall,
Sneaky.
I give this story a meh out of meh. The spag was just fine, but there was excessive amounts of prose. It didn't really keep interest of anyone at all. The constant point of view hopping really dragged out the chapter and made it far longer than it needed to be, because we didn't really need the villain's plan described to us, because it's a very normal thing for hive cities to fall and be purged. That's just a thing that happens. So making this like whole elaborate plot about why it happened, and we gotta explain every intricacy of it, it's like
You don't need to do that. You just need to show that there is a villain. He's working towards some goal.
See, Super Potatoes actually gives it a very high score. He says, box of biscuits out of a lawnmower. I mean, I give that, I say that's a pretty good score. Sean gives it an 8 out of 10 snoring.
I'll give it a
Fair
fuck
enough.
off out of 10.
I wouldn't say I stumbled in by accident. I regularly scroll through streams using the writing tag to see if I can find people I learn from, or if I can help people learn. There you go, Maz. Good on you.
Good job. By the way, can I just say, Max, can you turn off your fucking microphone when you're not speaking? Piece of shit.
Oof. Called out.
Jesus Christ. Fucking background noise.
I'll just Max? You
I
alive?
don't even know what to say to that because I had to deal with Sneaky and Nose and dear God Trios for years.
Fucking trios.
Yeah, well,
Hold on, guys.
well,
Be right
I haven't,
back.
so fuck
Sex
you.
noises. Fucking
Of course.
Um,
But yeah, just please use push to talk or just turn it off for a bit.
I mean, yeah, I can do
Um,
that, but you don't have to jump straight to the piece of shit comment.
what would I say this story
You,
would
you,
benefit
you
more?
know me, dude. That's exactly where
No,
I go.
I barely know you.
Okay, fair enough. I'm like bootleg
You're
sneaky.
slightly more polite than Sneaky.
Yeah,
Slightly.
exactly. Slightly. And that should say all you need to know.
Alright,
No, Sneaky
Morgoth
didn't jump to
slash
that till like the
Tojo
4th time.
Well,
says, would this story have
maybe I'm having
benefited
stations.
more from having a villain whose plans are more mysterious? Honestly, it would have just benefited from not really paying attention to the villain. That's the thing in Warhammer Fix, is the villains are rarely paid attention to. It is usually just about the main character doing things, everyone's reactions to them, and then he reacts to a new thing, and then does things about it. Not often when the villain is even focused on, because the thing is that if you try to personalize every villain in a Warhammer story, you're gonna run out of things to personalize very fucking quickly. Because there is literally so many antagonistic forces in Warhammer that you're almost better off not even bothering trying to explain why antagonistic force Y727AB295-C hates humanity today. Now certainly the larger threats, the
Tyranids, orcs.
No, I was gonna say for the orcs especially, like the war boss, you kind of want to give a backstory for. The WOG leader, that sort of shit. The Eldar, you really don't need to give any information for, because the Eldar don't give a shit about humanity, and humanity doesn't give a shit about the Eldar in terms of what their names are or their importance. It's literally just like, fucking Eldar, are we gonna shoot each other today? No, monkey, we're not gonna shoot each other today because there's some fucking relic on here that we have to stop your monkey brethren from activating and killing us all. Like, fucking fine. Okay, we'll shoot each other after that.
That sums up Eldar human relations, except for the Dark Eldar.
Well, the Eldar don't acknowledge the Dark Eldar in terms of being a problem with humanity and existing. Yeah. Just in general, having your villain's plans be explained to the audience in a narrative, I don't personally feel is a good idea.
It's only a good idea if it's way into the fic and it's near the end game, but the thing is either going to fail utterly, or it helps you characterize the villain more.
Which is where the trope of a villain explaining their whole plan to the hero sort of came from. And you have to, while the focus is on the hero, ultimately you have to root for the hero to stop the villain's plan, and you can't do that without telling the hero the villain's plan. But if you tell the audience the plan early, it desyncs them from the hero and kind of creates a disconnect there, and you're now instead of rooting for the hero to stop the villain, you're now anticipating for when the hero stops the villain. And that usually leads to a very poor payoff. As you can see actually in the Aragon series, this actually ended up being sort of a thing, in where you stopped rooting for Aragon to beat Galbatorix and started just being like, okay, well, when's he gonna do it? When's he gonna do it?
Just imagine like a standard fantasy series, except when the final battle comes, the hero just fucking loses, and that's it.
That's literally what fucking happened in Aragon.
Yep.
Aragon ended up losing to Galbatorix, and then he's like, Galbatorix, I'm gonna teach you the meaning of friendship. Quite literally, I'm teaching you the meaning of the word friendship by shoving it into your brain. And then Galbatorix is like, oh no, now that I know what the word friendship is, I am sad. And then he kills himself.
That's just fucking stupid. I mean, I never read Aragon, so
It was
I don't know,
beyond
but
fucking stupid, and
what the fuck?
it was a massive letdown because the author, due to how he wrote the villain and how he wrote the pacing of the story and how he had the villain's plans go on, he shifted it from rooting for Aragon to anticipating the fight between Aragon and Galbatorix.
That's just retarded, honestly.
But anyway, time to move on to our next fanfic. And this is a fanfic brought to you by the one, the only Andros.
Oh God, help us.
So this is a My Hero Academia story, but it's a lie. It's not actually a My Hero Academia story. You see, this is actually a My Hero Academia story that's crossing over with Dragon Ball Z. But it doesn't want to claim it's crossing over with Dragon Ball Z because more people read the non-crossover section. Thank you, Harn.
You're welcome.
So, this is called Super Deku.
Shoot me now.
Izuka
Yeah, sure.
Midoriya is the son of a Saiyan and a human mother. What powers await Izuku in the future? I don't know. Saiyan powers? Duh. And how will he handle his Saiyan nature? You literally just asked, what powers might he get in the future, and how will he handle having them be a Saiyans? It's... I don't know, author. What powers does he get in the future? Maybe it's the Saiyans? The one you just fucking answered in your own sentence?
Actually,
Yes.
Yes.
the
Go
more
on.
I think about this, the more I'm like, this is not gonna go well. Because I think we talked about this last week, actually. Sneaky off podcast.
Yeah, off podcast. Yeah, we talked about this. Yes.
Yeah, you basically have the Gohan problem of he's not gonna want
Wow.
to fight.
I'm just fucking bleeding everywhere. Oh,
Uh,
that's a lot of fucking blood.
Good times.
We're all
did
good
you-
here. It's just.
Did you cut your lip on the bottle?
No, my leg. Leg is just bleeding.
What do you mean your leg is bleeding?
I mean, my leg is bleeding.
Why?
Because it's bleeding! No, Arn, shooting my leg will not reduce the bleeding.
I'm not aiming to reduce the bleeding. I aim to stop it by emptying you out of blood.
Permanently.
You can't bleed if you don't have any blood left.
Uh,
That's all I'm gonna say.
A quirk is a collective name for a genetic mutation most people in the population of My Hero Academia have. It grants a mutation on a physical level or elemental or supernatural power. Yeah, I actually have a lot of problems with the quirks of My Hero Academia, but we're not going to get into that right now. I can if you guys want me to, but not gonna. How do you misspell quirk?
My favorite gurk.
the official first sentence for chapter 1, like after the chapter 1 drop.
Oh God! All right, one shot.
Fuck.
2 shots.
2 shots of vodka. Fucking pours the entire bottle in.
Ugh. 3 shots.
You know, I'm gonna take one too. Hang on.
Izuku
Not
doesn't have a
vodka,
very
but-
good Gurkha. Yeah.
Cheers, Sneaky.
Cheers. God damn. Woo!
Oh.
Follow
That was good.
Izuku as he goes to UA to become a hero that he always wanted to be. This is my first ever fanfic. I'm not the best writer, but I am here. Please don't be. I
We can
know it
fix
might
that.
be bad, but
That's
I'm
great.
gonna keep going.
Oh.
It honestly, it's sort of like it's like if someone got a bunch of crayons and then very crudely, like you barely could even make out shapes, drew a comic about Sonic and Knuckles both getting pregnant by having the sex with each other. And except you actually couldn't tell any of the dialogue because it was kind of just a squiggly mess. And you couldn't really tell that there was panels anywhere because they were all non-square shapes. And you only
Dialogue?
guessed
What's the
that it
dialogue?
was, and you can only guess that it was Sonic and Knuckles because one character was red and the other one was blue. And the person in the posting note when they posted up on DeviantArt or whatever, they go, "I know, guys, that this is really rough right now. It's my first comic ever, so I'm gonna keep going until I improve." And it's like, maybe just a suggestion. Don't publicly post things until you have coherency. And I understand fandoms is where you learn to write, and that's the sort of way you get started with writing. It's the sort of way you get started with art. But there's a line between complete incompetency and I'm just starting out, guys. Like right here, you have a useless Gurk. The Q and the G are not even near each other. You literally have to miss half of the keyboard to misspell this word.
I mean, he's a pretty bad shot.
If Sonic and Knuckles were to merge, would their name be Suckles?
God damn it.
That's pretty good. But it's really frustrating. Because it's my first time writing, guys. Okay, cool. What's the first thing you do when you first get in the car? Like, you know, you're
Drive into the fucking ditch.
You're training to drive a car. What's the first thing you do? You go to a class on how to drive a car.
No. Step 1, remove the handbrake. Step 2, just roll. And there you go.
Yeah, this is
How to drive.
edited. Yeah, they've.
I mean,
yeah.
if you just leave it in neutral, you'll get somewhere eventually.
Exactly. Yeah, depends on where you want to go, though.
So anyway, your
Might not
first
be
thing
where
you
you
do
want them,
is
right?
you usually end up in a class, or they end up giving you materials, and you look up how to drive a car. And fucking hell, I mean, even Google how to drive a car, and you'll probably get plenty of results. Do I expect you to know the intricacies of your local law? Not really. I do expect you, however, to know what a gas pedal is, what a brake pedal is, what a steering wheel is. Do I expect that you'll always check your mirrors when you go to drive? No. But I do expect you to look out your windshield to see if you're about to hit someone.
Some cases that might be too much, honestly.
But it's the same principles here. Do I expect perfection? Not at all. Do I expect competency? Do I expect for you to have spelled a majority of the words correctly? Yes.
And there's your first problem.
And not only do I expect that is not a personal expectation. That is an actual expectation of fanfiction.net, where that is an actual guideline that you are supposed to follow if you want to post a story on fanfiction.net. That you are supposed to have coherent and properly spelled words and sentences of the language you are writing in. That's actually a requirement on that you have to agree to. This is not like I missed it because I just didn't check the rules. No, it is a thing they require you to agree to every 3 months.
You know, this is why fucking teaching the poor people to read and write was a bad idea. Genuinely. I'm just saying. Like, if we didn't have literacy
Now,
for the common people, we wouldn't have fanfiction.
Aura King, all I'm saying is that I have seen people write fan fiction in Notepad before.
Oh yeah, fucking good times. I did that in like 2013. I never actually did anything with it,
Andros
but I
says.
tried.
Andros says, Sneaky, if it makes you feel better, you only have to read the first chapter, and it's very short. I actually read the whole thing, and aside from the typos that are constant, the plot gets much worse. You know, and that's another thing that I don't expect from people. I don't expect your plot to be great. That's not something I'm going to hold against a first-time writer. Now, if Coral Ron shits out a terrible fucking plot, I will, criticize him for it. But the first-time writer, I'm not going to criticize you too bad for a shitty plot. I am going to criticize you for a really shitty character. If your self-insert OC is trying to conceal a Smith & Wesson 600 in their pants in Japan, I am going to come fucking down on you for that one.
But what if it's American-occupied Japan?
It's not. And then Ezio Auditore shows up.
I mean, he just lives nearby.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
He lives nearby with a cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Just lives in the neighborhood.
But
Man's
anyway.
gotta live somewhere, you know?
My Hero Academia Dragon Ball. People are not born to greatness. They are made, built. They are made, build, and forged.
You know, I didn't have anything fucking skating to say. I'm just so disappointed.
This is literally a quote. This is literally a popular quote. Twisted a little bit from My Hero Academia. This is a popular quote. You are not born into greatness. You are forged in times of trial and shit like that. Like, I am baffled when people fuck up popular quotes. I'm utterly always baffled when people fuck up popular quotes, because it's just like, how did you manage this? It's like when you see the picture of the car in a suburban neighborhood impaled through the roof of a 3-story house, and it's just like, how? How did you do this?
Very simple. You see. Laws of physics, actually just a suggestion.
I've actually made that particular mistake of fucking up a popular quote. Ah, Mez. Mez! Come on, Mez! You had one job!
Wait.
I'm sorry, Miss Midoriya. Your son has a useless was the last sound the doctor ever made.
Wait,
as
of
Izuku
course-
impaled his fist through the doctor's heart.
What?
That doesn't make that joke feel fine. Oh god. I mean, that's the only way it makes sense to me.
The doctor said as Izuku sat there with his little All Might action. Shocked and wide-eyed. The end. Great story. Not the quote part. My insert in a sword and sorcery fantasy world had a gun. No, that's fine. No, Mez, my exact comment was the fact that, because guns have been actually around for a really long time.
About 1,000 years, depending on where.
Like if you go back even farther, like there was even prototypes of the gun that was literally just a cast bronze barrel with a piece of log around it.
Yeah.
Fire lance is technically firearms.
The fire lance.
I'm for debate. Like honestly, like gunpowder, which I feel is a fairly necessary part of
gunpowder
a
is actually a
gun.
recent innovation, but we've had explosive powder of sorts around for a very long time.
Black powder, then it goes back to China in the
not even
around
black powder,
like
dude.
300.
Saltpeter. Like
Yeah,
even
fair
older
enough.
than that was unrefined
Yeah.
saltpeter.
Fair enough.
It's forgivable when you're that young. Oh no, there's a modern handgun. I took it with me when I fell through the fourth wall. Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna give you kudos on that, because I've never heard that before, and I'm actually amused by that idea. I fell through the fourth wall.
I mean, technically, the beginning of No Game, No Life. Was that just them falling through a fourth wall?
Yeah. I mean, don't feel bad, Mez. You know, you've already been replaced by a Japanese story called In Another World with My Smartphone. It's basically your story, as it sounds like, except the guy had a smartphone instead of a gun.
Yeah, more or less.
They did it in Marvel. It's Gwenpool as well. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, I can forgive you for that, but some stories are very cringy.
Most
The
stories are
doctor
very
said,
cringy.
What? Can you please explain?
No.
What needs explanation here? I'm sorry. Your son has cancer. What? What is cancer?
Oh no, is that bad?
Wait, what? Why does that need explanation? So, I liked Marvel Comics so much, she climbed through the fourth wall in the comic world, decided to be a superhero and the BG character. Yeah. SJW comics aren't a particular favorite of mine.
Fuck comics. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey guys, have you seen Gotham High? It's a AU world of the Batman, except it's taking place in a high school. I'm pretty sure they owe me royalties. It was on my Tumblr before this.
Sneaky, come on. You know, safe space, Snowflake, everyone's favorite superheroes.
Also, can't forget Trailblazer. The
Oh yeah.
Can't forget calling the super fat character Trailblazer because she's definitely walked the trail before. Let alone made a new one.
Wait, what about the guy with the fucking internet gas?
The internet gas. He suffered too much internet gas, and now he can only talk in Bane Post.
Oh god. I'll give you some fucking internet gas, alright? Fucking Cyclone.
Oh god. We ran a number of tests on your son, and they all came back as positive for a quirk, but he displays no power!
We also did a test for HIV, and they also came back positive.
I'm really confused by this. We tested for a quirk, but it displays no power. Okay, so what about those quirks that aren't power related? Like, oh yeah, you're really resistant to the cold. Or, you know, oh yeah, you can float sometimes. Or you're super strong.
He has a quirk and it's power related. He's a human water weed.
Or your organs have been rearranged and you can eat anything. It's like, okay, how are those power related tests gonna test for those quirks?
X-ray?
Power.
My superpower is I travel forward in time at a normal speed.
Ah, yes, of course.
Well, speaking of My Hero Academia silly stories, I wholeheartedly recommend Pro Hero Metal Bat. I have been having a fairly amusing time reading it. It is a little bit dry in some areas, and it does take about 10 chapters to get going, which is unfortunate because there's only 16 chapters. But he is updating it still, and it is mildly amusing, and everyone's starting to get to the point where Izuku is using this metal bat, and everyone's like, hold on a second. He just literally punched that fridge across a beach. And he said he's quirkless? Yeah, he's quirkless.
Yeah, alright. I'll believe it. Understandable.
In the blood tests we took, we found an anomaly in the blood. And in all my years of being a doctor, I never saw this cell before.
Semen.
God damn it, Arn.
He has sperm cells in his blood. What the fuck?
Along with the white cells, the red cells, and the platelets, he appears to have special cells.
Yes, semen.
His blood,
Well,
or
it's his father.
I have no idea how he got these cells. Really? I wonder how he got these cells. But in these
His father's
cells,
Johnny Sins.
they are unique to him, and no one has ever been recorded having these cells before. So I assume that his quirk are these cells.
Oh god. Imagine if it was alcohol. Like his quirk was just being constantly
That
drunk.
already exists.
Yeah, is that your quirk?
No, but there is this. It is actually a genetic mutation that I believe that can be triggered by
Oh,
certain
yeah, yeah.
factors. But it
Yeah, I heard
turns
that.
your gut into an alcohol factory,
Yeah.
and you're just permanently drunk. And I think that's great.
I mean, yeah, you'd fucking love that. Content for days.
How did Perfect Cell get inside him? Very carefully.
Yeah, a lot of lube.
Oh god. With a sad expression on her face. Well, what do we do now then? It's been his dream to be a hero. Can he still be a hero? Doctor looked at her. Space.
And
Whoa.
cried.
Space. As to what to do now, I've sent a sample of his blood to a lab where they will do more tests. As opposed to my office, where I ran all the tests I could already. Instead of sending it to a lab to do the tests in the first place.
I mean, I thought I was gonna just drink it or something.
Doctor just... Oh my god, what if your quirk is like when you drink blood, you can tell everything about that blood, like down to a genetic level? And so your
God.
fucking doctor's there, like taking some blood from you, and he's like, alright, bottoms up, and just fucking drinks the whole thing right in front of you. And you're just like, what the fuck?
He just fucking empties out the syringe into a fucking shot glass. Oh god.
It's like, yeah, it makes you a great doctor, but you've really gotta learn some bedside manner. I love how the doctor can definitively say that he can't become a hero, even though they just said he has special, never-before-seen cells. Yeah, pretty much, Sean. That's how all of these fics go, where it's like, oh yes, Naruto, you are the unfavored son, because you only have complete access to the body of the Kyuubi. With no mind,
I've arrived.
with no
You should
mind
leave.
to stop you from controlling the body, and so that's why we're gonna abuse you. Because you have access to the body of the Kyuubi, with nothing to stop you from puppeting it.
This won't go poorly
So
at all.
we're going to mistreat you.
So we're going to abuse you. Also,
Because
here's
that
some
totally
naked
won't make
pictures of
you
your
fucking
sister. Get used to them.
I
God.
feel like it would be a better idea to go, you can control the single most powerful thing on the continent. Have a cookie.
You would think that, but the villagers go, ooga booga booga booga.
Booga booga.
I see.
Me abused
So
kid.
it's Africa.
He powerful. Ooga booga. I mean,
Everyone
Africa, I
in
think.
Konoha is inexplicably replaced by Jar Jar Binks clones one day.
Exactly. But I mean, like in
You
Africa,
know-
they
Oh,
actually
wow.
just eat the blood
I
of
would
albino
think-
children.
Yeah?
I would watch
So,
that.
Oh,
I mean,
you
why
would?
not? Fucking
Yeah.
pervert. What's wrong with you?
I mean, it's not like it can end up being worse written than the original season 1 of Naruto.
That is...
Oh, really?
That is... I feel like that's a challenge, and I really don't want people to take that as a challenge.
Oh, they already have,
Oh,
believe
God.
me.
No,
Believe it.
luckily our reach is far too limited.
Indeed. The doctor looked at her, asked her what to do now, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, son! You can't become a hero. This broke Izuku. When he got back to his apartment, he didn't say a word to his mother. All he did was walk up to the computer and watch All Might videos like a good
Much
lad.
hentai. Fuck yeah, dude.
After the video finished, he cried his eyes out. Hold on, I think I have a relevant
He went straight home and started watching hentai.
I have a relevant.
No,
fucking-
bad Izuku, bad.
Hold on. Where was I fucking? Picture. Can I have it around here? I think it's a GIF. Let me pull this GIF. If I can find it. Can I find the GIF I am looking?
I have still fucking.
In the meantime,
GIF
be
Easter egg
satisfied
hunt.
with this.
Oh, yes, very nice.
I see.
I approve of this message.
Sean, the reason I come back is because I'm contractually obligated to.
Yeah. If Sneaky ever releases Atin from his contract, that fucker's gonna be
here
gone
we
from here
go.
like
Be
snap.
entertained by this one
Boom!
as well.
Like it's just got Thanos snapped.
Atin,
God,
I
wish I could-
release you from your contract.
Mr.
Vaporized.
Sneaky, I don't feel so good.
No, Mr. Sneaky. I feel
Yes, here we
amazing.
go. I found it, guys. I feel like this is Super Saiyan Izuku.
Yeah. Except just a little more
God
yellow.
Damn it, Isley.
I'm sorry,
more
I just
Aryan.
saw. Apparently, gun buying is up 200% in some states.
I wholeheartedly approve.
It should be up 2000%. All the guns for everyone. You get a gun.
Yes,
You get a gun.
Izuku accelerates.
Everyone gets a gun. Especially me.
Alright,
No,
so,
no,
everyone
you're
be
not allowed to have
entertained
them.
by,
I already do.
Super Saiyan Izuku.
Way ahead of you.
I
No.
didn't fight a. My grandparents didn't fight a war just so people like you could own guns. They fought a war so that people like me could own guns and abuse them.
Indeed.
Interesting tactic. Alright.
Anyway, so, let's see, blah, 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 blah. Can I still become a hero even if I have a useless quirk? Having no
No.
words, all Izuku's mother could do is repeat canon. And then, 10 years later, after all of canon had continued as canons, we now come to the divergences that should have happened earlier. But no! They happen now.
Because the other is a fucking hack.
In the final year of middle school, Izuku decided to do the best he could do to become a hero, which meant training. As a complete divergence from canon, Izuku started training early. He began to wear 10-pound weights.
That's a fucking terrible idea. Like, if for anyone else out there, just don't follow Dragon Ball training regiments. That's a fucking terrible idea.
No, what you should definitely do is the One Punch Man training regiments. Those never fail.
Of course.
He started back in the first year of junior high and built up lots of juice muscle. So he drank lots of juice and built up lots of muscle. Not a lot, but enough for people to notice that he worked out. 10-pound weights don't do that.
Yeah.
Alright, you parasites, I know it's the end of the year, but I'm gonna repeat my canon entrance and exit
Blah,
statements.
blah, blah,
Canon,
blah,
canon,
blah,
canon.
blah.
Canon, canon, canon. Canon, canon. Canon. I am literally copying canon, but worse. What is grammar? I don't know what spelling is. Spell check is a foreign object to me. Canon, spell check does not exist, but canon certainly does. As a
What's the
reminder,
spell checking?
canon.
Idiot?
What did you say, you piece of shit?
What the
Bakugo
fuck did you say
lunged
to me, little
towards
shit?
Izuku and ready to blast his head to hell. And he grabs Deku
By the way,
collar.
look, just something that's always bugged me. I know he's like Mr. Strong, and maybe the teacher couldn't do anything about it, but surely there's some kind of this child is on the road to becoming a villain. Let's have someone stronger than him beat the hell out of him and set him on the right path kind of program. Like, Like, nobody at any point ever went, hey, this kid with explosion powers is bullying people and literally exploding their faces, causing burns.
Yeah, but Atin, you're forgetting one key aspect here. That'd be bullying children, and bullying children is wrong. Because I have an announcement to make. Stop bullying. Oh yes, hold on, I'm getting a news report now. Yep. It seems that my announcement has in fact dropped bullying to 0%.
What? Crazy. You done what 43 other announcements couldn't, Snaky?
I know, right? I believe because the last 43 announcements were stop fucking your cousin, which I can understand is a difficult concept for some to grasp.
But that ain't
Roll
stopped
Tide.
yet. I can look down the house. I can look down the
Yeehaw.
street to my neighbor's house.
I don't need to pay for a whore. Sheila's just always up for it.
We need to leave.
Do you think Max forgot that he's on Push to Talk?
Don't know. Was he on push to talk?
No, I just had my mic muted.
No.
There's not much for me to contribute here.
Thank you, Max, for your excellent contribution. I didn't know this stream promotes redneck relations. Well, I have, my name is Cletus, and I am a fine individual, and I wholeheartedly endorse the individual known as SneakyDevil, praise be Jesus, and I wholeheartedly love the Fanfiction Podcast 3000.
God, I wish I
Yeehaw.
had a big red button to mute you.
God, we've needed that button. Max, I'm sorry, that button is about 30 years too late.
Yeah, that is.
I'm aware that Sneaky hasn't existed for 30 years, by the way.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything.
The button is still 30 years too late.
Exactly.
Silence, Isley. You don't need your. Anyway, so, and then Izuku felt something he had never felt before. Before.
Never felt a whore before.
I think the vodka's getting to me.
He's a boner.
An erection. Yes. As Bakugo leaped towards Izuku, all he could feel was his erection.
By the way,
Oh God.
you see what Izuku learned was was it Dave Chappelle or who was it that said the best way to get someone to stop bullying you is no, don't do that, I'll get an erection.
That was Dave Chappelle. Yes, that was Sticks and Stones.
Well, bottom up, guys.
Indeed.
By the way, Isley, that's your challenge. Take that as the writing prompt.
Anyway.
Oh, fuck you.
Anyway. So.
I mean, if you want the writing prompt, you can have the writing prompt too. It's just a prompt, man.
Strip
fuck
naked
you.
and run at them. I feel like you would get in more trouble.
Yeah, probably.
Something felt roaring inside him. No.
Speaking of which, I wish the guy who was doing Izuku uses orkiness as a quirk. I wish he would update.
Oh my god, that's such a good story.
Yes.
Izuku
Just
yelled
so
to push Bakugo back with a swift palm strike, and this actually knocked Bakugo away. I mean, he could have just punched him in the face and got the same thing. The look of shock on Bakugo's face, insert Pikachu shock face, in all the years of bullying and abuse.
A boost?
Caboose!
He was bullying Caboose, but why? He's on blue team. Blue team is the best team.
Oh god. Anyway, bullying and abuse that Izuku had taken, he never fought back. Not even once. He was the kind of person to never fight. With the initial shock of actually being knocked back, Bakugo said nothing as he dropped the notebook and just walked away. What was that? I never felt angry before, and how did I get so strong? Punching someone in the sternum.
Izuku smash!
There's a Musaboos. There's a more supposed say. Yes, I am working out, but I shouldn't be able to push people away. I mean, 10 pounds of
Yeah,
force
you
is a
should.
decent
Bakugo
amount.
isn't superpowered. He's
Mhm.
kind of just a tool with explosion powers.
Yeah. He decided to take the shortcut home, which means he went under the bridge and cannon. And then for some reason, All Might showed up and shouted "Evil Containment Wave." Maybe? Was it All Might? No, but someone random showed up and said "Evil Containment Wave," and then the sludge villain was surrounded by green energy. Max.
Yes. What?
What the fuck's an evil containment wave?
So basically, you take like a jar, you wave your hands with a weird chant, and you can seal an evil entity in it. And then you put a cork in it to seal them up.
And that's DBZ canon.
Yes. That's how
Oh,
they defeat.
wait.
That's how they
Hmm.
defeat Piccolo's dad in the original.
Yeah.
I feel
remember that.
I feel like a lot of fights could have been solved by that.
Oh, there are a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, it makes a return in Dragon Ball Super. It's like, wait, can't we just use this to seal this? Yeah, just don't drop it.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then
drop it.
they put Goku in charge of it.
I mean,
Launch
Wait.
it in, wait, why don't they just launch him into the sun? Just be like, fuck you!
very good question.
I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure most DBZ villains have passed the point of being like, they'd get yeeted into the sun and be like, "Ooh, I needed to tan."
No, I'm fairly certain a lot of people would die to the sun still. Dragon Ball.
Look, all I'm saying
Uh,
is Frieza has
yeah.
the power to crack planets, and that's season 3.
Well, yeah, but he's not able. He has to actually send his energy into the core of the planet, so it's on a massive time delay. As opposed to, I don't know, Beerus, who
Okay,
just
but I think you're
looks at it
missing the
funny.
critical thing here. The ability to crack planets has nothing to do with heat resistance.
No, but
No,
when
it doesn't.
cracking a planet is something that's doable, you're not exactly like, that's what I'm saying. That's season 3. By the time we get to the point where they're merging and time traveling, that most of them can break a planet by punching it. Like, they're so far beyond human means that
Okay,
who cares if they get yeeted into the sun? They get punched. Like, the air friction from the punches they throw would be hotter than the sun at that point, practically.
Yeah, more or less. Probably a lot, fucking long
I'm
time
not
before that, honestly.
I'm not gonna talk anything on that because I just don't know anything about fucking right.
Yeah, it's been a fucking while since I read it, but I do actually have the
Anyway,
entire
so
thing physical.
yeah.
evil
No,
containment wave, and the sludge villain got caught in the wave. What is this? Sludge villain shouts as he's pulled into a small container called Demon Seal. And then villain was in container, and it looked like a small bald old man with sunglasses and a turtle shell and a thick Fu Manchu mustache and beard.
Oh, fuck off.
you can leave.
That was a close one, said old man, who walking up to Izuku, who was still trying to catch his breath. Thank you so
Why
much,
is
sir.
Master Roshi a thing?
I don't know.
Fuck
If you
me.
hadn't showed up when you did, I would be dead. Don't mention it. Oh, really, same paragraph, eh? Don't mention it, kid. Come on, let's get out of here before heroes get here, and don't worry about him. He won't get out unless someone else opens it. I should probably tell them not to open it.
Wait. So he just leaves the fucking villain there?
Yeah, just fucking shit.
He's just leaving him there in a
Leaves
soda
the-
bottle.
Well,
Just
a little
hope no
post-it
one opens
fucking
it.
note just on the soda bottle. Do not open.
Do not
Well-
open. Dead inside.
It occurs to me that a lot of the problems that might be about to happen can be fixed if he just goes and talks to Cementos like, hey, could you encase this?
Or just fucking picks up the bottle and brings it to a
Wait,
safe
why
location?
don't they just like suck up all the villains then inside the inside of the penitentiary or whatever it's called? Just like, oh, one for all, You want to be evil? Evil containment wave.
Oh yeah,
Well,
like
you see, Sneaky, that will require
oh
thinking from the author's point. And oh boy,
yeah.
Like,
that's another thing.
and sure, maybe the Saiyans are hiding from the heroes or some garbage like that. But like, you don't think that any of them would have gone, this dude is just stealing people's powers. I'm gonna go flick him in the forehead and stop that.
Why is Roshi hiding from the heroes to begin with?
Who
Okay,
the
no, let's be clear.
fuck
Nobody
Roshi's
knows?
probably hiding because there's an arrest warrant out for him because this is Japan and he's a pervert.
Yeah.
That is true. Never mind.
Actually fair.
Potentially, yeah.
One for
Yeah,
all is
but,
actually Frieza. Aura King, do not give them ideas.
You know,
Fuck
but
you, Aura.
like, in all seriousness, the evil containment wave is a super great fix. It's like sealing a Naruto. It fixes literally everything as long as the villain is evil, and no one knows about it. It's a relatively unknown technique.
You know
Okay,
what?
so what happens if the villain thinks they're the good guy?
Wait, no. The real good one in here is.
You know, you're bringing up questions about this technique I never thought. Like, is it the user who has to decide
Ah,
the
yes.
person evil? Does the person
Basic
themselves?
subjectivity.
No, Max, the Dragon Balls decide who is good and evil.
Ah, yes, of course.
Oh,
Dragon
God, if
testicles. My
By the
favorite.
way, just another
Just
complaint.
first.
Why did they never? They always have to use the Dragon Balls to resurrect Krillin. Why did they never use the Dragon Balls to just power up Krillin?
Well, see, the other thing here is that
Surely at some point, yeah, I'm sorry, I just got to rant about this. Surely at some point they must have gone, geez, Krillin gets murked like every time someone shows up. Can we do something to help the dude? You know, make him immortal, make him like 500%
Considering he's one of
stronger
the
than he is now.
Considering he's one of the strongest humans now, I'm not sure what that's gonna do for him
Look-
because he might actually be too strong for the dragon to affect now.
look, all I'm saying is that what would absolutely break the DBZ verse is that all of the main cast become Guardians.
You know what would actually break the entire DBZ verse? If people applied fucking logic to it.
I mean, yeah.
But,
Oh boy, I
right,
just thought of one.
right,
Can
so-
you imagine? Here's you get all the Dragon Balls. Okay, I wish Krillin was half as strong as Goku, right? And then just get Bulma in there. All the people who you have to keep resurrecting, yeet them to like half. You don't have to get them to Goku's power level. Just enough that the average random jobber can't do anything to them, and that they can at least run away long enough for someone useful to show up.
Bulma is very much the one that is bad in that situation. And
Yeah,
yet,
I mean,
think
like,
she's only died once.
impressive,
Wait.
isn't it?
Has
Right. So
has Bulma died?
this parody
I
situation.
think so, yeah.
This is actually a DBZ story I would like to read. So it's a semi-crack, semi-parody story. But the basic premise is that they learn about the evil containment seal, and then from every villain from then on, they just use the evil containment seal on, because usually they're super fucking evil, like, I want to enslave everyone, I want to blow up your planet, I want to fuck your mother, stuff like that. And they just use the evil containment seal on everyone, so they never actually get stronger and shit. So when actually finally a villain shows up who isn't actually evil, they're just like, we actually can't fight him.
I mean, here's the thing. Arguably, they would get to Stain and then be like, shit.
Yeah, more or less.
Because while Stain might be a dirtbag person, what he's doing is not necessarily evil. He's definitely going about it the wrong way, and he's a dick.
He's killing the corruption, which is always good, but he's going around the
but-
wrong way.
He's
Here's
getting
the-
people
here's
that
the
probably aren't
problem.
corrupt.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
problem with that thought process. We see him go after people that presumably are not corrupt.
But the thing is that his worldview is actually explained in that he thinks that pretty much everyone but All Might is corrupt. He has a paranoid thought process, and where it's even like even with a Genom, he was like, oh, well, you see, he went to an event once, and so therefore, because I know about one event he went to, clearly he's went to more before, which means he's clearly just in it for the money. So therefore, he's corrupt. And the only person he gives a pass to is All Might, because again of twisted logic, despite the fact that All Might has so much fucking commercialism around him. But anyway, so Roshi shows up, is all like, yo, 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 what up? And then Izuku just follows him. And saying,
All right, I mean, no,
untapped
hold on
power.
a minute. Izuku has been clearly shown to have like not the best sense of self-preservation, including
Autism.
doing things like holding on to All Might when he jumps off a building, running at a sludge demon.
Oh. That is
Having
a very
autism.
nice Neo picture. I shall acquire that.
Using an ability that will literally break every bone in his body before he's strong enough to do it.
Multiple times.
And also having autism.
Heavy autism, indeed. But
I would
anyway,
just say, yeah, probably low key on the spectrum.
not
high key
low
on the
key,
spectrum.
very, very, very high key, very high key on the spectrum.
No, I mean I'm trying to get. He's functional.
Yeah, but it's also very obvious.
Up for debate.
Alright, so you're a Saiyan, untapped power. What do you mean I'm a Saiyan? What's untapped power? It's like a quirk, right? I don't have a quirk. No, you do have a quirk, you fucking retard. You've already
It's just-
established this author. Why are you already contradicting yourself?
Because author's retarded.
When aren't they?
I'll tell you the truth in
Exactly.
time, but for now, I'm just going to train you with some tutorials. You are clearly going to be stronger than every student I've had before. I am saying you can become a hero, and Izuku was like, oh my god, this man said I could become a hero. I am gonna follow every direction he gives me.
Okay, I mean that's actually fairly in line with the young lad.
I'm aware. Back with the sludge villain. I could have sworn I saw a villain in this direction, All Might said, and he's like, holy shit, there's a fucking Coke bottle on the ground, and he picks it up, and he's like, oh, there's a note here. Do not open sludge villain inside. What is this? It is a seal? I am very impressed by this seal. Whoever did this, I must thank. But for now, I must fly away. And then he's like, I should look for my successor, because my time is running out. And then he coughs up blood midair. And that's chapter 1. Boy, am I glad I'm never going to read that garbage again. So, that actually does put us at 8:40, which means we only have 20 minutes left, and that usually means we don't have enough time for me to rant about another fanfiction. So this is the moment where I'm going to open up the rest of the stream towards fanfiction or fiction-based questions, or anything about the stream, or etc. Anything you want to ask, if I find reasonable to answer, I will do so. So, go. Since you mentioned Super Saiyan Deku earlier, heads up, Deku goes Super Saiyan 1 during USJ event, Super Saiyan 2 during Stain, and then gets Super Saiyan 3 when he dies. Doesn't get Super Saiyan 4, but considering how he gets the most recent chapter ended, he's going to be getting Ultra Instinct before then.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Okay,
Who needs
so
power scaling?
if he goes Super
I mean, it's
Saiyan
Dragon Ball.
1
What the fuck is a power scaling?
during the
edible.
sports event, he is
Okay,
just
no,
all his opponents.
at
Stain is a
least-
splat.
Yeah.
You know?
At least it had power scaling in that they usually only jumped once a season.
What the fuck did I just read?
As for Super
See-
Saiyan 4, that is technically non-canon.
Something completely unrelated.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
See-
what? How is Super You know what? I don't
Shut
care.
the fuck up,
Super Saiyan 4 was GT.
God damn it. Alright, can I finally speak? Thanks. Someone made a fucking CBD tampon inspired by the Diary of Anne Frank. Yeah, you heard me the first time. CBD tampon inspired by the Diary of Anne Frank. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
So questions, or we're shutting the stream down. You guys have 1 minute.
How do I keep my audience from being stupid and get them to give useful feedback?
All right, so
You
first you
don't.
have to purge everyone, and then you shoot
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
With suicide.
Okay, I can get behind purging.
Mhm.
Let me call my Inquisitor.
All right.
Yeah, that's about it. You can't get bad feedback if you don't get any feedback.
Exactly.
Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. People
you.
can still think mean things about you, and that counts as flame.
Are we
because you're gonna
currently
catch those
working
negative
on any
vibes.
writing projects? I mean, technically speaking, I am working on one with Atin, one with Max, one with Arn and Gray, one with just me and Gray. So I mean, technically, I am working
Yeah.
on them.
I've
Non-technically,
got 2
I
or
have been basically
3.
swamped with work, and when I'm not swamped on work, I am mind-numbingly relaxing myself because I just literally can't fucking think anymore. Or I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
I've got some personal works, and then there's technically 1.5 of that.
I just don't feel like working, honestly.
Gray's
I
got
should.
Sarah, but that's about it.
Damn it, Arm.
Yeah.
Finish
Dumbest
off the rest of this
fan
fucking
tropes
one-shot
don't
Mato
get
stick.
popular.
Yeah, at some point.
What are some of the
Remind me in
dumbest?
2 years. I'll get it done.
What are
No,
some
you
of the
won't.
dumbest fan and tropes that you don't get why they are popular that you see and fix? Doesn't matter the fandom.
Let's start with magic cores.
Everything.
No. I have seen far dumber Harry Potter shit. Harry
You're
Potter
right.
Don't
titles,
get me started.
Harry
Hang
Potter
on.
abuse stories, Naruto abuse stories.
Yeah.
I just generally can't get behind them. I just don't understand why they're so popular. Like,
Yeah.
Harry Potter was abused enough already. Like, he was already neglected as a kid. He was pushed around. He was beat on by his technically older brother. He was...
Cousin.
It's his older brother, though. Like,
Oh man. Depends. Mostly it's his cousin, but if it's a wrong boy or live fic, then yeah.
Okay, so...
Brother.
I mean, yes, but it is technically his older brother because he's living in the same household, blah blah blah, and they've adopted him, blah blah blah.
No, not really.
no, legally it's his older brother. Like,
No,
Dudley's not his older
not.
brother. That's retarded.
They never. I don't think
He's
he.
never been adopted. No.
Molested by
officially adopted.
Dumbledore. I
Oh,
honestly
jeez.
haven't seen that very often.
Me neither.
I've never heard of that.
I've seen
Yeah.
weird, creepy relationships with Snape, where he's
Yeah,
turned
lots
into a
of weird
fox boy.
relationships with
Ugh.
Snape.
Fuck
Okay.
that.
Other fan and tropes I just cannot comprehend.
Okay. Minato and Kushina being shit parents.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
neglectful. That's one I don't get
Yeah.
because all of the canon materials, like, they were super hype
Yeah,
to
like,
have Naruto.
not only were they super hyped for Naruto, they're also genuinely, like, they were displayed as disturbingly nice people in a terrible world.
Yeah,
I mean,
more or less.
to be fair, when you're as strong as those two, you can afford to be nice. In that
I
world.
know, but what I'm saying is they were distinctly displayed as that people were like, he was
you
like
are way too happy and upbeat.
weirdly
It's like,
nice. He was like
it's
weirdly
like
nice.
the
He was
people
weirdly
who are willing to
happy.
share meat with you in Fallout. You're like, found the cannibals.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's a trope that doesn't make any sense. For
and
those
so
two.
then it's like it turns around. It's like the other thing, the other fanon trope with Naruto when it comes to that those general cluster of tropes that go together. The other fanon trope with Naruto is that I just cannot fucking comprehend. I just can't wrap my mind around it. Is when they go like, oh yeah, Naruto's got like 4 sisters. One has the yin half, one has the yang half, one has the soul, The other has the body, and he has the mind or some shit like that. And it's like the body and mind are the
Oh.
yin and yang.
Yeah, splitting up the QB into like actual impossible pieces.
And it's like, how does she have the body if they have the yin and yang halves? So it's literally made of chakra. There is no body.
Well, you see.
If I could take
If you
over
don't
a
care about the
franchise,
fucking canon, then anything's possible.
if I could take over a franchise and write the story, what franchise would I do it?
Fucking
Ruby.
I feel like most
We
of
have
us would
covered
say
that one.
because
Yeah.
We've
do Harry Potter.
excessively covered Ruby.
yeah.
I do Harry
I
Potter
don't know.
purely because that's more
How
profitable.
would you change it? Take your pick of the 30
There are so
podcasts
many
that
ways you
covered
could
that.
go. Yeah, there's so many ways you
Where
could go
we
about
have
changing.
complained.
There have been
Vigorously.
multiple rewrites among this group, and
Yeah.
just on the just on the Two Idiots and Suthner.
Honestly, you could go wildly different directions. You could keep mostly everything and just rewrite the characters. You could keep some of the stuff and rewrite the general world, or you could keep fucking none of it and just keep the idea of a slice of life combat fic with unspeakable horrors.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you could go about writing Ruby better, and we've described so many of them. We've gone into so many rants about how many different ways they could have changed Ruby for the better. Even depending on how far we were willing to go, like just characters, the world itself, the economies of the world, how missions are handled. We have described so many ways they could have just improved it as a general series. And I feel like Ruby is something I would be willing to tackle as compared to, say, stories like Naruto or etc. The other Japanese stories, basically, because Ruby's an American story.
Yeah.
And it's written by Americans, so I can understand where they're coming from with an American perspective. And as someone pointed out to me, when it comes to Japanese anime and Japanese manga and shit like that, there is a lot of Japanese politics in them, and because we just don't know Japanese politics, pretty much all of it goes completely over our heads, and so we don't notice it.
Yeah. Unless you're watching Shin Godzilla, in which case, oh boy.
Yeah.
What are the politics?
That was a good movie.
Or fucking Gate.
Yeah.
That-
Gate.
It's
The
a special-
JDF could totally beat the Delta Force. Yeah, okay, Japan, you just keep telling yourself.
Alright. But, I honestly, most of the franchises I like, I have no desire to mess with them because they're like Mega Man Battle Network. I like the story already, and unlike most other franchises, it has a definitive end.
Wow.
The only thing I would change is maybe age the characters up slightly, because this elementary schooler has saved the world 6 times and it's getting kind of ridiculous.
Not enough, dude. Gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Like, at least age him up to like a freshman in high school.
Nah. If Ash can do it, anyone can.
He never
Ash
grows,
is in a
Max.
coma. Everyone knows this.
He never grows.
Ash has been in a coma for 43 years, and his mother has just moved on to boning Oak every day.
Of course.
She's getting some hard oak in her.
Hey, yo.
But
you know what? No, there is one franchise I'd like to take a crack at fixing.
yeah.
Gundam Seed. That had so much potential. And they fucked it up.
Seed.
Like, keep the music, keep the designs for the suits. Just
I'll
fix
give you
the
some Gundam
weird
Seed, alright.
Fix the weird angle they took on racism.
Oh, wait, was that the one with the Mexican?
No.
No, that was G Gundam. We don't touch G Gundam. G Gundam is perfect in 1995 xenophobic glory. But Seed literally turns it goes from like, okay, well, we have normal humans, and then we have designer babies because someone released the genetic template to do that. Okay. And then we eventually turn into, okay, well, we're clearly going Allies versus Axis. You know, you got USA versus the Third Reich. And then the USA suddenly morphs into the Fourth Reich, and now it's an argument Third and Fourth Reich. And it's it's literally my racial supremacy is better than your racial supremacy by episode 40. And I'm just
I
sitting there
approve.
like, is this happening? Am I watching this right now? Am I watching Germany eat itself in anime form?
Well, and here was
Yes,
my
I am.
problem. My problem was I didn't even make it that far because I got as far as some chick was mad that her dad died and she decided it was all the Gundam pilot's fault. So she decides the best way to get back at him is to turn herself into a honeypot and have sex with him and then slowly destroy him with emotional guilt. And that's at episode like 14 or 15, and I was like,
That's
I'm
really
out!
early on, yes. For season 1 of Seed, that's very early on, yes.
That is weird.
You would need to fix some of the characters. Give Kira a little bit more personality.
Other than crying.
You know what fan and trope I
Fix
actually do hate, and I
Flame.
think you'll all agree with me here?
Oh,
Familiar of Zero, no matter what she summons, they always agree to become her familiar.
You know what?
Yeah.
Give me something that's
Yeah.
angry, right? Give me something that's like, give me a space marine that's like, no, I serve the Emperor. Fuck
Purge these heretic psychers!
Snake, I remember when we were discussing like just what if scenarios of our,
Yeah.
of our Dark Souls characters traveling.
Yeah.
One of the things is just Hobble and Valkyrie looking on confusion, and it's like, why? I mean, we can't go anywhere, but we're not just going to agree to this.
This is dumb. I'm not agreeing to a slave contract. It sounds stupid.
Alternate suggestion. Smack.
Alternate suggestion.
Yeah, basically. And that honestly, it genuinely frustrates me because I see so many interesting stories that have potential, and then it's just like instantly agrees to enslavement. It's like, what the?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Okay. You know what? If there is a Goblin Slayer cross Familiar of Zero, or Goblin Slayer himself is summoned, the conversation should literally go, "Will I get to hunt goblins? No. Fuck you. I'm out."
Are you preventing me from hunting I'm leaving. No, you can't leave. Are you preventing me from hunting goblins? Yes. Stab, 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 stab.
Then I will hunt you instead.
Oh god. Guys, imagine Goblin Slayer, but instead of the Goblin Slayer, it's the Doom Slayer.
I mean,
He would
look,
be
he
very
is the Doom
confused.
Slayer.
You know what's so
someone should make that.
disappointing? No. I looked at the Goblin Slayer Doom Slayer crossover section.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
He is fucking cringe. Absolute fucking unadulterated cringe.
Sneaky. When I said someone should write it, I meant someone competent.
Ask Raven's
I like-
Dagger.
Yeah, I might actually.
That reminds me of DXD Fix, where insert main character is fine with being rezzed and enslaved by Rias. Okay, you know what? I'll actually give that one to you as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
you know,
always
that
irritating.
is
to
kind
me.
of weird.
Another thing though is what's his face is Argentum or whatever his name is, the guy who does 10 times and Well Traveled, the excellent Worm Planeswalker crossover. He actually did do like 3 chapters of a post Golden Morning Taylor ending up in DXD and getting rezzed by Rias because Rias comes upon this scene where literally Taylor is just standing in this weird doorway to another world and just gets shot 3 times in the head by this woman, and then the doorway closes and Taylor's bleeding body is just on the ground, missing an arm, 3 bullets through the head, and Rias is like, I should resurrect her and she'll thank me. And literally the first chapter is just like, I wanted to die.
Why
So
would
I'd
you do
appreciate
this?
if
I
you
was
just
in tears.
would kill me again and put my body back where you found it.
I
I-
wanted to die.
That's okay.
And Rias was just like, what?
Wakes up. Damn it, I'm awake.
Honestly, he just handled it so well, because then Rias was like, oh, you have to be my pawn, because otherwise your power will be rampant. So you injected me with a power that will turn me into a monster that will legally require you to hunt me down, unless I agree to be your slave, until an indefinite period of time where this supposed power supposedly stabilizes. Yes? You're phrasing that very not in my favor. Yes, that was the point.
I would say, actually, can you send me that? Because I'd actually like to read that. There's
Oh,
some good worm.
it's great. No, yeah, I'll find it at some point. Aura King, if you could get on that, that'd be go.
Imagine that situation, but instead of going like, that sounds like a bad idea for me, then it's just like, oh yes, catch me if you can.
Yeah, that was so fucking good. Ah, man, I fucking love that. I can't wait to see more of that from him.
Well, also,
Yeah.
just another thing that I... Going back to, like... Oh, God, Sneaky. Now I want to know what would happen if, like, someone, like... like an Inquisitor or a Commissar ended up getting summoned. You just summon a normal human, but they have a fucking
No,
bolt
we've
pistol.
seen that before in Familiar Zero, where a commissar, a Imperial Guardsman, a what the fuck was that name? Was that guy's name? The Death World guys.
Krieg?
Krieg, yeah, Krieg's Marine, and a Sister Sororitas, I think, all got summoned, and she kissed.
Wait, all at once?
Yeah, and she kissed one of them, and each of them got one of the 4 Void Familiar runes, and they were all just like, "Oh yeah,
I've
we'll
seen
totally
that
just
one.
follow you," and it's just like fucking what?
Okay, look. Depending on the Commissar, I could buy that, right?
Mm.
Depending on the Commissar, I can buy that. An Inquisitor? A Kriegsmarine? And a Sister of Battle? The people who are known for being so devout they make Space Marines go, you should probably step it down a little.
And
You
then they
need
go,
to take
"Fuck
a
off,
chill
mutant."
pill.
Yeah, Sisters of Battle don't. But
The feeling is mutual, very much so.
oh yeah, I know, yeah. But yeah, no, they're just there's really weird stories that just don't make any fucking sense. Like Necron, I can get the Necron. I actually surprisingly can understand the Necron.
The Necron one was great.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And it's a shame
but-
that he's not publishing anymore.
Oh, it's so sad. But I mean, at least he did finish it
Oh.
first.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Well, Max.
I decided to go ahead and just take a peek at chapter 2 for that Super Deku fic.
No.
Oh,
So
Why?
Dead
Why?
Goku
What
shows
is wrong
up,
with you?
and
Goku
he gives
shows up.
Deku, Dead Goku shows up, gives
Ah, yes.
Deku all of his techniques he learned in life, and I'm just sitting here like, he just gave a slight,
Okay, so now
he just
Izuku
gave
can
a
beat
slightly
anyone.
emotionally unstable 15-year-old access to the Destructo disc.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the least of his fucking powers.
Also, he's now a
It's also
better.
one of the strongest though because of its cutting capabilities.
Also, I
Eh.
want to point out, he is now significantly more terrifying than All Might ever could be to villains because he now has instant transmission. All Might still had to get on a plane.
So, instant transmission, various forms of the Kamehameha. He now has access to the Spirit Bomb.
I mean, like, that's gonna be useful for him. Because no one's gonna care to give him their energy.
It's a transmission. Grab. It's a transmission. Throw.
Well,
it's a
Spirit
transmission.
Bomb, you can
Deku,
do
stop
Spirit Bomb
throwing
without
villains into
using
the sun.
everything.
No, you can't stop me.
Oh.
Hey, fair enough.
Like, don't forget, Spirit Bomb is literally, you can draw on the energy from things around you. This includes grass and non-sentient animals. It doesn't just have to be people.
Yeah,
People
right, fair
just have a
enough.
lot of energy to give if they're willing.
Ah,
enough.
yes. Thank you very much, Aura.
Oh, sweet God! Can you imagine how much energy a symbol of peace would get? Just
You know
hop
what?
on the TV. I need your power.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he could literally just pull a Mr. Hercule. Feel like, yo, put your hands up, people.
Virgins
fix
of the
this.
world, give me your energy.
Essentially, yeah.
Oh.
I need everybody who believes in peace to put their hands up and send me your power. Okay, this is too much power. I might destroy the Earth. I need you all to slow it down a notch.
What's the Necron story we're talking about? So it's a familiar Zero Warhammer 40k crossover fic in which Luis summons a Necron Lord.
Herald of the Void.
Yeah, Herald of the Void. And the basic premise is because Luis bound him and the runes on him overrid his mind a little bit, basically he equated the fact that since Luis could summon him, therefore she was clearly a star god who was pretending to be a human.
And using void powers.
Right, and using void powers. She was clearly a star god pretending to be a human so to disguise her ascension to becoming a fully fledged star god. And so he's like, oh man, I gotta really double down on serving her. And
he's like, this is a great idea, and if it works, we'll get a star god.
And we'll get a star god loyal to me. Yeah.
Yes, if.
Honestly, everyone should read that story if they're familiar with either Warhammer 40k or familiar with Zero, because it is
Yes.
great. It is great.
I'm familiar with neither.
I might go back and reread it just because it's great, and I'm still sad.
You might say I'm familiar with 0 of those series.
I
Kill me.
need to start on that thing, but I have so much queued.
Flicks out knife with malicious intent.
With malicious intent.
Indeed. Yeah, no, it's a good story. It's a good story. But yeah, there's a lot of really dumb fandom tropes that I just cannot fathom how they got started.
Like all of them.
Well, no, there's a couple that I can understand in terms of, oh yeah, that makes sense, or it fills a gap that wasn't, described in canon, but it makes sense in the world. That sort of fandom I can get behind.
I guess.
But the whole oh yeah, Naruto is abused by his parents trope, or the villagers hunt him down every single one of his birthdays and stab him to death, and it's just like, what the why is this popular? It makes no sense. He lived a shitty life already. You don't need to make it shittier.
Hold Sneaky. I have one thing to say to that, just to counter it. That's sort of the why it's popular part, and that's just teenage angst. That's all you need.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as it's angsty, teenagers will like it.
I know.
Eat that shit up like it's fucking cereal or some shit. I don't know.
Fucking YA novel.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is
them all.
currently 9:04. I appreciate everyone sticking around to this point. If you could spread the word, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. The more people that stick around, the longer we talk, the more you learn. And just generally, the less we have to focus on these fanfics, and the more we can talk about general writing techniques, so what we like, what we don't like, the fun stuff that keeps everyone entertained, and probably eventually will get me jailed for saying the wrong thing and then someone clipping it. But, without further ado,
I'm
here to remind you that we will be here next Friday, as we always are, 7 p.m. to
I'm
9
off.
p.m.
Gigandere, soul of a barbarian.
And, of course, there is always more, and it always gets worse.